everyone, it is Natalie here, and today I am filming another college type video. This one is a little different than the other ones because the other ones are more technical videos and they're more focused on like majors and just how to choose your college and stuff like that. I've been doing a whole series on that, so if you guys want to see that, I will have all of those videos linked down below. But today we are actually going to be talking just about kind of like college in general, what to expect, basically everything you need to know about once you are there and what to do, because I know I have a lot of viewers that are heading there next year, or maybe you just kind of want to reminisce on the good old days, or you're in like 8th grade and you just want to watch college videos because why not? Speaking of, comment down below how old you are and where you're from, like what country you're from or like what city you're from. I would really love to know like where my viewers are coming from. I think that'd be so cool, and how old you guys are. So yeah, comment that down below. If you guys are new here, hello, please subscribe if you guys would like. I post videos every Tuesdays and Fridays, so happy Tuesday, you guys. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a living situation, because a lot of people, when they go to college, they move away from their hometown, they go into a brand new city, a brand new place, and they basically, the first thing people do like freshman year, it's very typical to live in a dorm. I lived in a dorm my freshman year. Dorms, no matter what though, if they're nice, if they're not nice, I feel like people still have the same issues, and like a lot of people have roommate issues. A lot of people don't know how to pick a roommate. So personally for me, I found my roommate on Facebook. There's a page for NC State, like class of whatever, and then you just type in like everyone there is like, hey, I'm looking for a roommate. I'm a really chill person who loves watching Netflix but still likes going out on the weekends. That's literally every single person's post. Like, I'm not kidding. That's how I found my roommate. I just messaged her, she messaged me, and then we connected, and yeah, that's how that happened. But a lot of people do random roommates, or a lot of people go room with their friends from high school, or like I did through Facebook. But no matter what you do, most people I know have had roommate issues. Luckily, me and my roommates lived together for 3 years in a row, so we didn't really have big issues. We did have little ones, but it wasn't like big, huge issues. But a lot of people I know, and actually most people I know, ended up like hating their roommates. The reason why most people end up fighting with their roommate or hating their roommate or just having issues with them is because of lack of communication, lack of confrontation, and also just selfishness. I feel like it kind of boils down to that. So what I've noticed is that to be a good roommate, you basically need to clean up your mess. That is the #1 thing, because I remember I would get so annoyed if I came home and like living in an apartment and the kitchen was a mess or something and I didn't do it, you know? Or like living in a dorm, if like you come in back to your room and like literally your roommate's stuff is everywhere, that will get you pissed off. So to be a good roommate, make sure that you clean up your mess. Even if you're not a clean person, try to be, because you're living with someone else. Another thing that people would get mad at for roommates is when they didn't ask to do something, and I'm talking about like if you're bringing a bunch of friends over and you guys are sharing a room and you literally don't tell your roommate at all that like, hey, I'm gonna have 3 friends spend the night. Like, that's just kind of common sense, is just to ask, like, because you are not the only one living there, so you're not the only one being affected by it. It is a little different when you have your own room and you just share an apartment. I never really asked if I had anyone coming over because it was just like, they're gonna be in my room, you're not even gonna see them at all. But when you do have a dorm, you need to talk about those things, and that kind of boils down to selfishness, also like the cleaning and asking. Like, don't borrow your roommate's stuff if you didn't ask. That's like also a huge thing. Like, I know so many people would like steal clothes from their roommate because one time they let me borrow a shirt, so I guess it's a free-for-all now, their closet. Like, no, don't do that. And the next thing I want to talk about is Greek life, and a lot of you, if you are not from the US, are not familiar with Greek life, so I'm pretty sure the US is the only place that does this. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's where sororities and fraternities, like that's what Greek life is. It's like Panhellenic and inner, what is it? I don't know what the other one is. I was in a sorority for 1 year, or no, whoa. I was in a sorority for 2 years. I was in Zeta Tau Alpha at NC State, and I have like a video on that also. But I was in that for 2 years, and then I dropped my junior year, or right before my junior year. My dogs. I'm just gonna wait while my dogs stop barking. So basically, Greek life is where girls and guys will rush or go through a recruitment process, and then they go and they find their home away from home. That's like what people say. It's like your home away from home. I'm saying this all in air quotes. I don't have anything against Greek life. I just think some of the things that they do are kind of funny. I was in it for 2 years, so like I've know the goods and the pros and the cons of it, and I'm not saying that it's all bad or it's all good or anything like that, but I'm here to talk to you guys about it. My number one advice though for someone is that if you are interested at all in rushing, and you are interested at all in joining a sorority or joining a fraternity, and you really want to, or like even if you don't really want to but you're like, maybe I do, go through the recruitment process because it doesn't hurt. I do think that there is a small fee to go through recruitment, or a small price, but like it is worth it to see if you want to, because nothing is worse than regretting it and then being like, oh, I wish I did. So I would 100% go through the recruitment process if you have a desire to. If you literally know that you will never want to be in a sorority or fraternity, don't go through that process because you know already. But if you have any small inkling in your heart to do that, then I would highly recommend doing it, because who knows, you might just love it. I rushed, and I kind of knew that I wanted to be in one certain sorority since the beginning because I knew people in it, and a lot of people say go in there with an open mind, like don't listen to what other people are saying, and I have like yes and no to that, because yes, don't go into what other people are saying because everyone's different and you might like one more than your friends like one, you know, but if you already have a ton of friends in one sorority, chances are you're gonna mesh well with that one sorority because you already like half the girls in it, versus if you go into it through recruitment with an open mind. Recruitment, girls are a lot more fake during recruitment, and it's not necessarily a bad fake, like, oh, they're saying that I'm pretty when really they're talking about behind my back and talking about how ugly I am. It's not that type of fake where they're being like, oh, I love your shirt, and then they're like, oh, that was the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. No, but it is fake as in we're forced to smile, you're forced to sing songs, you're forced to act like, oh my gosh, hi, nice to meet you. You know, like everything is very kind of like, oh, I have to be on my best, and like right before the doors open, everyone's like, oh my gosh, and then the doors are open and you're like, oh my gosh, hi, like welcome. You know, so it's just like that type of fake where you have to kind of know that that's not really how they're like. And I'm saying this, like, I don't want anyone to hate me, like if they're watching this and they're in Greek life or they're in my sorority or something like that, like, it's true. I mean, I don't know how anyone can argue that. Like, no one is that happy in real life. Like, if you have friends in one, like, you're obviously gonna wanna go to that one. It's kind of like, go into it with an open mind, but also if you know things about other sororities, then don't like completely forget about that. And are girls mean? Do you haze? Whatever, those types of questions. I personally was never once hazed. I am not just saying this on camera. I literally was never even once hazed for like a second. So for me personally, I wasn't. I know girls that were though. Not in my sorority, but I know girls in general, like at other schools and at other places that were hazed. And then for fraternities, obviously I'm not a boy, so I'm not in a fraternity, but my boyfriend is in one, and I have all my friends, all my guy friends are in fraternities. I do think their bond is a lot closer than the girls, because with girls you have like 50 girls in a pledge class, and there's no way you're gonna know all of them. There's no way you're gonna be friends with all of them. So it's just kind of hard to judge it, because guys' fraternities are usually a lot smaller and they honestly bond so much more than the sororities do. That is kind of it about Greek life that I want to share with you guys. That's like, I'm going to talk about frat parties also, but that's like the main thing about Greek life. It's just like an organization where girls can like bond together and you're sisters and all this stuff. And the reason I dropped was just because I wasn't getting what I'm paying for. Sororities are expensive. I was paying it for it myself, and I literally didn't hang out with any of the girls in it, and I never went to the house. I like barely ate there. Like, it just like wasn't worth it for me. I never lived in the house, and so I was like, why am I paying this money if I literally don't do anything with it? The next thing I want to talk about is parties. That is like the #1 thing people want to know about college when they're talking about the social life of it, because literally when anytime college is portrayed in a movie, it's just like in a frat house with red Solo cups everywhere, like people like, yeah, like so drunk, whatever. Is that real life? Is it not? Whatever. And also with parties, I want to talk about the hookup culture, because that kind of goes hand in hand for college. So for parties, freshman year, I think frat parties is where everyone goes. So freshman year is like the #1 prime time for frat parties. Fraternities do like a lot of events during the beginning of the year, and they try to like recruit guys to their fraternity, and then also a lot of girls go to fraternities, and typically the house is filled with freshman girls. So my #1 advice for fraternity parties is don't be like, don't think that you're weird if you don't like them. I personally hate fraternity parties. Like, I will never step foot in another one unless I know a bunch of people there, because then it's fun because I like know all the guys in it. But like if I'm just going to a random frat party just like with my girlfriends, no. I think there's just a place where a lot of people are like trying to act like they're having fun, but they're really not, and everyone just has their phone out and is like Snapchatting the whole thing, and it's like, really, are you even like enjoying yourself? So be safe. Also, I don't know guys that roofie girls. Personally, I know it happens, and I know sexual assault is such a huge thing on campus, so please, it's a real thing. It's not just like a made-up statistic. Like, girls will get sexually assaulted in college. Be careful. Don't ever leave your drink unattended. Don't leave, like, if you came with a friend, leave with that friend. Make sure that you know where they are at all times. Just be safe. Don't ever go anywhere by yourself. Don't trust a guy the first day you met him at a party. You know, things like that. Like, it's just thing. I don't know any guys that are that malicious enough to do something like that, but I know that they are out there. So just please be careful is the #1 thing I have to say. And with hookup culture, that goes hand in hand with that. Parties is the #1 place where like hookup culture, I guess, happens. That's where you meet guys that you hook up with. I don't know. I know you normally don't hook up with a guy from class. You hook up with a guy that you've met at a party. You know, that's like what happens. And for me, I honestly don't like the hookup culture. I don't participate in it at all, but if you do, also know if you're the type of person that gets attached, hookup culture I don't think is for you, because a lot of guys in college, especially freshman year, I don't recommend anyone dating freshman year. That's like one thing, just because freshman boys are so mature, and I think that's a good time to kind of like find yourself and stuff. And I had a boyfriend freshman year, and I honestly like, I see why people shouldn't date freshman year. That being said, guys literally don't care about you if all they're using you is to hook up with. Like, if all you're down for is to hook up with, then that's fine, like you're okay with that. But if you're the type of person that gets attached, don't expect to change the guy, because it's just not gonna happen, especially freshman year, but it's not gonna happen. So I just think, please, like, be careful, young girls, like, getting their hearts broken, because I know so many girls kind of want to like fix guys and change them and make them better, but like that's just not gonna happen in college or ever. You should never want to change someone. You should like accept them for who they are, and if you don't, they're not a project. Just move on, they're not for you. I think that's like the #1 thing I have to say, is that if you get attached easily, don't participate in it, because your heart will break and you'll be so sad, because you're gonna be wondering, why don't they like me? They told me that they did, and then we hooked up. Like, that's probably why they're telling you. Being honest. The next thing I want to talk about is friends in college, and I'm just gonna leave this brief. I feel like this video, I'm just kind of like glazing over everything, but yeah, it's still 20 minutes long. How? I don't know. Friends, I think that something that's kind of shocking for people is that it's totally fine to be lonely. I had more friends in high school than I did in college, and I think that's because in college, friendships are more shallow just because you just met the person. And so think about high school friends. Typically for high schoolers, like, you've known that person since middle school, or you've known that person since kindergarten. Even if you weren't friends, you've still known them for a while. Like, you've known who they are for a while. Versus college, everyone's being thrown into this one place, and everyone wants to make friends with everyone because everyone's new. It's like every single person is the new kid, freshman year at least. And so everyone's like trying to make friends with everyone, and like the second that you have one thing in common with someone, you stick to them, or you stick to your roommate or whatever, and you just have a label, like, we're best friends, we're friends, we're gonna go out together, we're gonna eat together, we're gonna do everything together. And you see a ton of groups of people that are like that, and like after the first week, like there's like groups of people in the dining hall eating together every day, and you're like, how did they make friends so quickly? Like, I feel so lonely. That's so normal. Some people are just more extroverted, some people make friends easier than others, and some people, honestly, it's fine if you don't have a lot of friends. Like, it's better to have a few good ones than a lot of bad ones, or just a lot of friends. And I feel like that's why college friendships are more shallow, because you don't know the person, and I'm not like a person that gets close to people that easily, so that's why I don't have that many friends in college. Not like, oh, I don't have any friends, but I had a bigger friend group in high school than I did in college, because in high school I had like years to develop that friendship, versus college, I just met you. We're not best friends. Like, I literally met you last week. That is basically all I have to say about that. I know this video was like very like just touched on everything, so if you guys want a more expanded thing of any of these topics, let me know. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and please subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.